I'm not a fan of Christianity, and I'm an atheist for a reason. But by the way, check out Ghalib Kamal. He actually put this idea in my mind, and he's very smart. This is his English channel. Do subscribe to this channel. Check it out. He's a very intelligent guy. He's an ex-Christian Pakistani atheist. So if he talks a bit more about Christianity than I do. So this is his view that Jesus. Why is that Jesus was also 2,000 years old? Older than Muhammad, but his morality is far better than the morality of Muhammad. Why is that? And I'm like, I am sure of that if we pull out any person from ancient times and we put him in this day and age, he'd be like, oh, you guys are bleeding heart tree huggers. What is this crap? Why do you pet your dogs as if it's your son? They will have a different morality. So I would apply the same thing on Jesus as well. But if you look at Jesus' life, he is a far better character than Muhammad. I mean, we can find only a couple of evil verses, like where one of the verses says that I was not sent for peace, I was sent as a sword or something. And then, that's only one or two you can find. But even if we apply the same skills of mental gymnastics that Muslims apply in defense of Muhammad, you can do the same with Jesus as well. So Ghalib Kamal thinks that people who wrote the stories of Jesus were much smarter than people who wrote the stories of Muhammad. They were much more careful in portraying the character of Jesus. There are no rape stories of Jesus. There are no beheading stories of Jesus. And they only showed good stories of Jesus. So this is an incident where once a Jewish couple was brought to Jesus and, they had allegedly committed adultery, and according to Jewish traditions, the punishment was meant to be stoning to death. Jesus says, well, if I were Jesus, I would have said, nah, that's crap. I'm a New Testament guy. No, this is gone. This is free love, hippie, everyone. Whoop, whoop. If I was Jesus, I would have done that. But anyway, Jesus didn't actually go against the old Sharia, the Sharia of Moses. Jesus said, yes, stone them to death, but only that person, see, he's clever, Jesus is clever, only that person who's never committed a sin must cast the first stone. So nobody came forward, because obviously we've all committed sins to some extent. So nobody came forward, and the Jewish couple went about their business and they did it again. So they committed adultery again. So anyway, ingenious. Well done, Jesus. You have my respect for doing that. You saved two lovers. But when that happened to Prophet Muhammad, guess what he did? He was no Jesus. This is why I'm saying Jesus was far better character than Muhammad. A Jewish couple was accused of adultery, and they said they were brought to Muhammad, and they said, well, what do we do? Muhammad said, what is in your book? So the Jewish guy says, the punishment for adultery in our religion, in our Sharia, is you blacken our faces, put us on a donkey, make us go around the village. And people would be like, hey, look at you, these shameful people. One guy gets up and says, no. You get stoned to death. Prophet Muhammad said, okay, bring me the Torah and show me this. So the guy goes, look, it says that. And then Umar goes, he goes, look, that's what it says. This guy says, no, lift your hand. And when he lifted the hand, it said, commanded him, the reciter, to lift his hand. He lifted it, and there was underneath that the verse pertaining to stoning. Allah's messenger pronounced judgment about both of them, and they were stoned to death. Muhammad's like, sorry guys, this is your own Sharia. You have to be stoned to death. So, okay. First of all, obviously, he's already lower than Jesus in this case. No questions about that. But Jesus went out of his way, came up with something new to help to let those two lovers escape. What did Prophet Muhammad do? He actually took part in the stoning. The Prophet stoned 2 Jews, and I was among those who stoned them. I saw the man trying to shield the woman from the stones. And it's the same story. Because you can see here, Abdullah bin Umar said, I was one of those who stoned them, and I saw the Jew protecting the Jewess with his body. I just imagine. The two people fell in love. made love to each other. And the guy was protecting, he was shielding the woman. He was like, no, please don't stone her. And Muhammad is like, here, you, boom, you, how dare you did what I do every day. How dare you do that with one woman that I have 50 other women to do it with. And Muhammad's like, sorry, it's your Sharia, it's your law. So there's the difference between Jesus and Muhammad. And this actually puts Muhammad even below Hitler and Stalin. You know why? Because Hitler and Stalin gave all these terrible orders, execution lists and gas chambers and all of that. They did all these terrible, nasty things. But at least about Hitler, it said that he never witnessed any of them, except for the guy who actually planned his assassination. I keep forgetting his name. Valkyrie, the Operation Valkyrie guy, when they were executed, hanged the next day. Some people say that Hitler saw it, but again, he didn't pull the lever. He didn't carry out the execution himself. But here, Muhammad is actually carrying out the execution, and they tell us that this is the best guy who ever lived. I mean, I'm sorry if I have to draw a comparison. Jesus was far better. But again, don't jump up and down, my dear Christians. Christianity is still a whole lot of hogwash. I don't believe in that. But all these stories are... The Jesus story is apparently a myth anyway. Possibly a myth as well. Doesn't matter. But have a look at this part of stoning. How Muhammad has actually forgiven other people. As long as they're Muslims and they've committed adultery, he has actually forgiven them. But because they were Jews, he's like, how dare you? Here you go. Don't feel any pity for them. A lot of people now today, before I go to the next one, a lot of people today say that, oh, this is not in the, it's not in the Quran. So they knew this problem will come because, as you know, the actual verse about stoning adulterers to death was eaten by a goat, according to Sunan ibn Majah, one of the famous Sunni hadith books. It was eaten by a goat. That's why it's no longer to be found in the Quran. However, in Surah Nur, it does tell you that you fornicators, if you're not married, then you get 100 lashes or something. So Umar was put forward this question that we do not find the verses of the Rajam. I'm afraid that after a long time has passed, people may say, which they do say today, we do not find the verses of Rajam, stoning to death, in the Holy Book, and consequently they may go astray by leaving an obligation that Allah has revealed. Lo, I confirm that the penalty of Rajam be inflicted on him who commits illegal sexual intercourse. If he's already married and the crime is proven by witnesses and pregnancy or confession. So if you can say, I have memorized this narration, Umar said, surely Allah's messenger carried out the penalty of Rajam, and so did we after him. So Umar actually said, yes, this question might come at some point, that it's not in the Holy Book, therefore we're not going to stone people to death. But there's something inside them telling as well that this is cruel. People might employ some mental gymnastics and say, yeah, we're not going to apply this today. Even then they're thinking. So there was something in there as well. I'm actually surprised at this. These guys still had some compassion deep down that, future generations might have a bit more compassion for two lovers. Anyway, but Umar said, no. This is Muhammad did it and we're doing this. It is a fact. We have to do this. But have a look. There's another one as well where it says, Abdullah bin Abu Ufa asked, did Allah's messenger carry out the Rajam penalty, that is stoning to death? He said yes. And then he said, was that before the revelation of Surah Nur or after it? So people were not believing this. I think they were like, should we do this or not? I think there's something in their heart. They're saying this is just cruel and barbaric. I don't know if anyone has ever seen the stoning videos out of Afghanistan. They are utterly disgusting and brutal. I mean, I when I watched it, I was like, I wish that I had the Iron Man suit, go in, give the lasers to all of them, and then lift, fly out with the two victims. That's how brutal it is. But anyway, the world is a brutal place. So what is the Surah Nur? This is a Surah Nur. He's talking about the unmarried woman or unmarried man found guilty of sexual intercourse. Lash each of them with 100 lashes, and do not be taken by pity for them in the religion of Allah. Of course, how can we have pity for human beings in the religion of Allah? We have to be cruel. We have to be cruel. There is actually another hadith as well where it said, don't take pity. Don't feel bad for them. They've done that utterly disgusting act of love making. Anyway, but have a look at this. This guy, Muhammad, actually used to forgive some people as well. Oh, Allah's Messenger, I have committed an offense which deserves imposition of had. Had is this corporal punishments, basically. Stoning to death, chopping off hands, amputation, etc. Muhammad said, so this guy is coming to him, Muhammad, and he said, so impose it on me. I deserve the punishment because I've done something. He might have done some, love-making session of his own. Thereupon Muhammad said, were you not present with us at the time of prayer? He said, yes. Thereupon he said, you have been granted pardon. He's been granted pardon just because he attended the prayer? So if the Jew and the Jewish if they had attended the prayer as well, you would have forgiven them as well? If they had accepted Islam, those guys made a mistake. I think they should have said, oh Allah, O Messenger of Allah, we bow to you. You are the greatest man who ever lived. Lo and behold, you must be the final prophet of Allah because you respect our religion. You got to make up some sort of a justification before you accept Islam to make it sound genuine. You respect, you honor our religion, and you give us punishments according to our own religion, which means that you are a very pluralistic kind of guy. You must be the real prophet. We accept. Right, my Jewish lover? Yes. We accept Islam. Those guys made a mistake. They should have accepted Islam. they would not have been punished. 100% certain, because Muhammad was a big groupie. He loved his groupies. Anyone who would accept Islam, he would be like, yep, you are forgiven. That's the trick they missed, unfortunately. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.